Hi everyone, my name is Shai Levin and thank you for joining me. And let's start. We assume that the common use case would be that some employees have laptops and already has access to corporate network, and other employees have only local desktop on-prem and won't be able to work from home. We also assume that the organization would like to provide a quick and efficient solution as soon as possible, as the current situation is rare event and we hope that will end soon. So in the next few minutes, I will show you what your options are and how to implement each one of them. I'm not going to cover all of the solution and configuration options. I will only cover two options that in my opinion are fast, secure, and easy to deploy. So my focus will be on allowing RDP access from non-corporate workstation to corporate workstation over RDP. And as I said, I'm going to cover two options. So the first option would be a clientless access to remote desktop with a mobile access blade by using third-party reverse proxy for RDP over HTML. And the pros are pretty obvious. Nothing need to be installed on the user workstation. Any browser will work. It's secure. There is no option to copy files between the local and the remote workstation. And the cons are that you need to deploy a RDP proxy on-prem. And the second option would be a native RDP access through SSL VPN. And the pros of this option is that there is no need to deploy any new software on-premise. And the cons are that the user will need to install an SSL client on the client workstation, and the administrator will need to set a group policy to limit access for file transfer and a clipboard mapping over a RDP session. For both use cases, we recommend for the user authentication to use Active Directory as the first authentication mechanism, and in the second authentication phase, use Dynamic ID, which is the built-in checkpoint multi-factor authentication mechanism through SMS or email. And later on, I'm going to show you how to configure it. So let's start, and I will start by installing an open source RDP HTML proxy. You can choose if you want to use the free RDP Web Connect or Guacamole or other software, free software, or you want to use the paid options like Ericom, or you can find other options on the web. I'm installing it on a Windows 2016 server. A more reliable option would be, of course, to install it on a Linux server. And I'm going to set the service to listen over HTTP port 8000 on the local IP address. And let's check that I can access it locally. This service is ready. Now let's configure the gateway. Let's enable the mobile access blade and allow only connection over the web. As you can see, the main URL is already set on the external interface. In this case, it's deployed on AWS, so you see the local IP, which also has a public IP that is mapped to the local IP. It's recommended to set a FQDN with a certificate so the user won't get a certificate warning when he accesses the portal. I will configure the application, the RDP proxy URL on port 8000, and I will give it a display name. Now let's configure the Active Directory integration for user authentication. I will run a test against the RDP proxy that I want to publish just to make sure that it's accessible from the gateway. I will add the user Bob from the Active Directory as a allowed user. We will need to repeat this step again later on as we are going to use the unified policy and not the traditional policy. And I will show you how to do it later on. Now let's enable the Identity Awareness Blade, and I will allow remote access as identity source. Now click on the Mobile Access tab and change the policy source to Unified Access Policy. Now let's click on authentication, then setting, and enable dynamic ID for enforcing multi-factor authentication. Now select the VPN client tab and select the Office mode. Click on optional parameters and set primary DNS. It's the local Active Directory DNS. The setting will allow the user to get an Office mode IP with DNS settings. So while the user is connected through SSL VPN, he will have a name resolution. Now let's edit the policy setting and add support for mobile access blade. Let's create a new rule and add to the source a new access role. Give it a name. Add the user Bob from Active Directory. On the remote access client, add as the allowed sources the mobile access portal and the mobile access network extender. For the services and application, add from the mobile application list the RDP proxy application that we have just created. And let's create a new native mobile application for native RDP access. Add the range of IP addresses you would like to give your user to access to. And on the service, select Remote Desktop Protocol. Now add a display name for your application and the local client path for the application to run. In our case, it's the native RDP client, MSTSC. And let's also add the DNS service for name resolution. We'll set the action to accept and log. And the last step would be to set the SMS provider parameters. You can use email for MFA as well if you want. Now let's publish and install the policy. So once the policy is installed, we are ready to go and check how it looks like from the client side. I will open a browser and set the URL to the external IP of the gateway /SSL VPN. I will log in with the Active Directory credentials of Bob. Now Bob is going to get an SMS with a one-time password that he is going to use for authentication. In the background, basically the gateway is pulling from the Active Directory the attribute of the mobile number of Bob. So this is how he knows where to send the SMS. I will start by showing the clientless option. Click on the link to the RDP proxy. Each user will need to know his workstation hostname and provide his Active Directory credentials. As you can see, the user has full access to his desktop over HTTP. So this is basically the first options. Okay, just the browser is needed. No, we don't need to install anything on the client side. Now let's disconnect and explore the second option. So the second option is the SSL VPN. Let's connect to the SSL VPN. Once connected, I can click on the link for the RDP, and the user will need to put his workstation hostname and provide his Active Directory credentials. As your trusted cybersecurity partner, we would like to offer you a complimentary license to ensure secure connectivity for remote employees. Please claim your license with the following link. I hope you enjoy this lecture. Thank you and goodbye.